This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 10 in the National Football League. Cleveland Browns on the road taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Thursday night football. We talked about this game in the preview for it leading up to this game, how it was the team with the most intensity that was probably going to win this game. And I expected both teams to come out with a lot of energy because this is primetime, big stage, hot, bright lights. Who was going to show up? And even though neither one of these teams are used to being on this stage, the Browns probably have been on primetime television the least of probably all 32 teams in the league over the last, let's call it 5 to 7 years. So they had to be amped to have this moment, them being 5-3 coming into this game, to have this moment, even though it wasn't a home game, to have this opportunity to be on a national stage and prove to everybody what because even though they've gotten off to this 5-3 start, I don't think a lot of lay NFL fans, a lot of the casual fans around the league really understand what the Browns are doing. I mean, you look at the record, oh, okay, that's cute, that's nice. They're the Browns, though. They're still not better than the Steelers. They're not better than the Ravens. They're not better than Cincinnati in their division. They're still, when it's all said and done, going to finish last in their division. I think that's the thought process of most NFL fans around the league when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. So if you're the Browns, here's an opportunity to say, hey, here we are. We are here. And we are doing this year. We're not the same old Browns that you just come in, you trample over, get you a W, and keep it moving. That's not how it's going down anymore. We got a new coach. You know how I feel about Mike Pettin. I've been trying to tell folks about Mike Pettin since last year when he was the D coordinator for the Bills. I said, look, man, this guy's going to make a hell of an NFL coach. I've been singing that song. Glad to see that he's finally proving to everyone else what I've been seeing for the longest time, that this guy gets it as a coach in this league, period. And he's got the defense playing football. Always helps when you've got some elite stuff. Tashawn Gibson and Joe Hayden, that's some elite stuff. So it always helps when you got elite stuff to help you do what you're trying to do on the defensive side of football. And on the offensive side, they've just got a lot of spare parts, man. And those parts are working in unison to get the job done. And nobody ever said it had to be pretty. It just has to be a win. And the Browns have been winning. Meanwhile, you look at it from the Cincinnati Bengals perspective, and their season hasn't been all roses either. They had a stretch early in the season, started the season 3-0. And you were saying, okay, this is kind of an extension of what we saw from Andy Dalton in the preseason. Andy was on fire in the preseason. I mean, he got the big contract. I think that took a load of pressure off his shoulders. He felt like, okay, I've established myself to the point now where I've gotten my contract. I've gotten the respect of this locker room. The franchise feels like I'm their guy. Now I can just go out and play football. So you expected Andy Dalton to maybe play a little bit better this year. And after the 3-0 start, things kind of reverted back to the old Andy. Dope! Where you get these boneheaded decisions and throws. You get some unforced errors. You're getting sacked or you're getting pressure. The ball slips out of your hand or somebody hits you. You're going down and you try to make something happen and he fumbles the football. Just dumb mistakes by Andy Dalton. The ones that make you say, Andy, what the hell are you doing, man? Don't do that. You can't do that. And so they end up losing a couple of games in that stretch. They tie another game. And so it just wasn't what you were expecting from a team that you said, hey, you won the division last year. If you want to win the division again, it's yours for the taking. Just play good football. They couldn't play consistently. A.J. Green, young, fresh, and green, he goes down to injury, and things kind of went downhill for a little while. Then they were able to get back on track with a huge win at home versus the Ravens. They followed that up with a win against Jacksonville. And you're thinking, okay, now they've kind of righted the ship. They're fine. Thursday night football, Browns weren't that impressive against Tampa Bay last week. Hell, they weren't that impressive against Oakland the week prior to that, but they won those games. But you still felt like, don't see them going into the jungle and getting one. And so you felt like this was an opportunity for Cleveland, if they wanted to make a statement, to make a statement. This was an opportunity for Cincinnati, if they wanted to prove that you're not ready for the big-time show yet to the Browns. This was the opportunity for Cincinnati to prove that to them on this stage. And so, which one was it going to be? Was Cincinnati going to remain superior over this Cleveland Browns team in Cincinnati and prove that, hey, we run the show in this division? Or were the Browns going to jump up and show a little bit of that youthful exuberance and say, hey, look, man, we here, man. This is not what you think it is. This is a different Browns football team, and we here to play ball. Were they going to step up and show the Cincinnati Bengals that you might be the team in this division that doesn't make the postseason? It might be you, but it's not going to be us. Let's see. Let's break this game down quickly. Andy Dalton shares on the opening possession. You want to call this an Andy Dope type of moment? I'm not putting this one on Andy. Jermaine Gresham going across the field on a dragger. Now, typically this is what you do. If it's man-to-man coverage, you keep going. If it's zone coverage, you sit down in a spot and give your quarterback a target to throw the football to. So, technically speaking, Andy Dalton was wrong on this play because it was zone coverage. Craig Robinson was sitting in zone coverage and he undercut the route. And because Jermaine Gresham stopped, he allowed him to undercut the route. Had he kept running, he would have been where the football was and it would not have been picked up. However, both of the guys technically were right, but everybody can't be right. So if you had to pick someone to be wrong on this play, I would say it's Jermaine Gresham. Because if you're running across the field as a quarterback, you're supposed to throw the football where your receiver is going, not where he is. And he was moving. It's not like he had already become stationary and stopped and set himself up as a target. He was running across the field. And so Andy anticipated him to continue the route. And Jermaine Gresham said, oh, it's zone, I'm going to stop. So he stops. Andy says, oh, no, you're running, so I'm throwing it to you. And Craig Robinson says, hey, neither one of y'all know what the hell's going on, so I'll take it. Thanks, appreciate it. And so that's a huge play in the game because what did I say in the preview? I said that Cincinnati needed to come out and keep this crowd energized by jumping on Cleveland early on. And I said that the Browns needed to come in and they needed to force some turnovers. They needed to establish the fact that they were going to be around in this game early. And the best way to do that, get on the scoreboard. And I said that the biggest key for me in the game was a couple of things for Cleveland was, A, you needed to be able to run the football, which they did very well in this game. And two, you needed to score touchdowns when you got opportunities. This is a team that has struggled to score touchdowns in the red zone. And so your first possession, you get a pick and you start off in the Cincinnati Bengals red zone at the 18-yard line. Hey, this is your first test of the game. What are you going to do? You've got a prime opportunity to score a touchdown. Are you going to settle for a field goal like you've been doing over the last month of the season? Or are you going to punch it in the end zone? I got my answer very early in this game. 5 plays later. All of them runs. Ben Tate is in the end zone. It's 7-0 Cleveland. I said, man, that's a hell of a statement early in this game. Now, again, it's early. It's early, and by no means do I feel like this means that the Cincinnati or the Cleveland Browns are going to win this game. But I felt like that was a huge play. Early in the game, very momentous type of play. And that was a sign of things to come from Andy Dalton in this game. Now, I mean, not necessarily his fault, but at the end of the day, it was a mistake. I thought that kind of drug down the morale of the team offensively, and they never got into a rhythm after that play. So it's 7-0 Cleveland in this game, but this is where I thought, okay, you know, as a guy that has been watching these teams very closely this year, this is where I thought the game was going to change. Jim Leonard coughs it up on special teams, and really they only put Jim Leonard back there. They said, it was funny, they asked Mike Patton, why is Jim Leonard back there? Because really they want Travis Benjamin back there, but he hasn't been doing a great job of holding on to the football. He's been turning it over on special teams, and so they had to take him from back there. You can't afford to have turnovers on special teams. So they asked Mike Penn, hey, you know, what is Jim Leonard's role, you know, back there on special? He said he's a great catcher of the football. He's a great fair catcher. So basically what Mike Penn is saying, I trust him not to muff the football, unlike Travis Benjamin. So he actually had space to run. I mean, you can't fair catch everything. I mean, if you got space to run, then you got to run, right? So he gets the football, actually gets a really good return, and from behind he gets hit, and the ball was actually coming out before he got hit. So I don't know what happened there, and I think Phil Simms made a great point. Those K-balls, those kicker balls, those are extremely slick. Like, they don't rub those down. They don't take that luster and shine off of those footballs. They're just regular footballs, and those things are slick. So that ball was coming out before he even got hit, and as he took the hit from behind, ball came squirting out, and Sean Williams, backup safety for the Bengals, recovers the football. And at this point, I thought, okay, that's the play that Cincinnati needs. They're going to get a touchdown off of this, and this game's going to be knotted up at 7, and from that point on, Cincinnati's going to dominate the game. That's what I was thinking. I said, in my mind, that's what was about to occur. But it was a role reversal in this game. And I talked about Cincinnati needing to score touchdowns and put the pressure on Cleveland because they don't score touchdowns, do the Browns. Well, the Browns went and got a touchdown off of their turnover. They said, no, we're not kicking field goals tonight. We're talking 37-mile-an-hour wind gusts? Hell no, I'm not kicking no field goals. The Browns said, we scoring touchdowns tonight. Well, Cincinnati was the team struggling to get 7 when they should have been. And so, you know, and you get the ball at the 32-yard line of the Browns, hell, that's great field position. You need to get 7 off of this. 3 straight, and this is why I think they went wrong. 3 straight incompletions. Andy Dalton was struggling to start the game. I think he started the game something like 1 of 8 or something like that. I mean, he was really struggling. So, and I thought Jeremy Hill started the game off really well. I mean, he was getting 8, 4, 3, 2. I mean, I thought he started off the game well enough for you to at least give him 1 handoff on this possession. And they did. 3 straight incompletions brings up a 4th down. Bengals elect to go for it. Again, I just talked about 37-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I mean, you can't kick a field goal from 49 yards out, 50 yards out with that kind of wind playing tricks on you. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen to the football. So they decided to go for it. They were really in no man's land. Can't kick the field goal because you don't trust the wind from that far out. But you don't want to punt. I mean, what does a punt do for you at the 33-yard line? I mean, you can't do that. So they go for it. They get lucky. Bust the screen in the slot against, guess who? Mohamed Sanu. And he grabs the arm down, doesn't allow him to go after it with 2 arms, 2 hands. And so they throw the flag. It was a good call. Gives them a 1st down. And so they got bailed out. What were they going to do with that fresh set of downs? Not a goddamn thing. Andy Dalton misses Mohamed Sanu in the end zone. He was wide open. The wind got a hold of it. I mean, again, if you're not going to throw a tight spiral that cuts through, and even if you throw a tight enough spiral, that wind, we're talking about mini hurricanes here. I mean, 37 miles an hour, goddamn. I mean, that's a strong wind. So that football never stood a chance. I mean, Andy put it too high in the air. There's too much air under it. That needs to be on a rope. That needs to be almost like a damn near back shoulder fade type of throw because the spiral needs to be tight enough to cut through the wind. It was in the air. It was hanging in there. We've never said that Andy Dalton had the strongest arm in the league, so it wasn't going to happen. That ball never was close. And so then Andy, what the hell is Andy doing? Andy runs like 17 yards past the line of scrimmage and throws the ball out of bounds. I mean, what the hell are you doing, man? Look, first of all, you already passed the line of scrimmage. Get some positive yards. You're already 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, man. Just get 6 yards and get the hell out of bounds. I know it's not going to be a 1st down. It'll make the field goal attempt closer, though. Use your brain, man. And like I said, Andy, sometimes, I don't know, Andy be out to lunch, man. I swear, Andy Dalton, that redhead mentality, sometimes I look at Andy, I'm like, Andy, do you know what the hell is going on right now? And sometimes I swear, Andy, I'm looking at Andy and it's crickets. Like, I wonder about Andy sometimes, man. I really do. But nonetheless, they get a field goal. They were able to make the field goal. It's 7-3, but that's not what this was supposed to be. When you get the football in the 32-yard line, fresh set of downs, to start your possession in the other team's territory at the 32-yard line, 7's got to be what's up. I mean, especially after you saw Cleveland get 7 on their initial possession after the turnover, you needed to match that, and you didn't. And I thought that set the tone in this game as we go to the 2nd quarter. Browns get the football, and they march it right down the field. I mean, very efficient, machine-like even, even as they matriculate the ball down the field. Billy Ho taking what the defense is giving them. I thought they ran the football exceptionally well in this game. And Isaiah Crowell this time, not Ben Tate, not Terrence. Wake up, Mr. West, Mr. West. It's Isaiah Crowell this time on a 1-yard touchdown. It's 14-3. And I talked about Cleveland needing to punch the football in when they got into the red zone. They're 2 for 2. Browns not messing around tonight. Hey, Cincinnati, wake the hell up. Browns aren't playing with you. They got energy. You need to match it. Right now, you see the intensity. And I like the mind games that Mike Patton is playing. They come out and they ask him before the game. Tracy Wilson is the sideline reporter for CBS on the Thursday night telecast. And she asked, simple question. What did you tell your team? What does this game mean? He said, it's just another game, man. This game doesn't mean anything extra other than it's a divisional game. And we're on the road and we need to try to get it. That's what he's telling you. What did he tell the team? Man, all week long, trust me, he's been telling these boys, this is our night. This is our opportunity to prove to the entire world that we're not playing. That these aren't the same old Browns. Yeah, he was preaching to those guys behind closed doors, and then when he's come out and say, oh, it's just another game. You're a damn lie, but I love it. I love it. I love it. So now it's 14-3. Ensuing possession, Jeremy Hill coughs up the football. And does anybody get more gratuitous bounces on fumbles than Joe Hayden? Remember the one 2 weeks ago against the Raiders when Darren McFadden fumbles? I mean, literally the ball was like thrown to him in his arms. Same deal here. Ball comes up, boop, oh, got one. Cookies. Yum, 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 eat them up. Yum, yum, eat them up. Got me some cookies. Going the other way with it. And so, Browns in business once again. As Joe Hayden picks that fumble up and is able to get some yardage, Billy Ho just misses Travis Benjamin on a huge deep ball. I don't know if the wind actually had anything to do with this one or not. I just thought he may have underthrown him a bit, and he had to step on a defender. If he hits him in stride, he probably scores a touchdown. Instead, it was underthrown, gave the defender a chance to knock the football away, and so they actually had to punt on this possession, did the Browns, but still up 14-3 at this point in the game. Cincinnati struggling to sustain offense, and they're turning over the football. That makes matters even worse. Cleveland puts together a 14-play, 6-minute drive that results in a field goal to end the first half. It's 17-3. They're up at the halftime break. Damn. Did I see this coming? Hell no. Hell no, I didn't see this coming. Now I'm saying to myself, are they going to blow them out? Like, I wanted to convince myself they're going to come back in the second half, but nothing I've seen in the first half indicates to me that this Cincinnati Bengals team is going to turn it around in the second half. And they didn't. We come out to the third quarter. Disastrous start to the second half for Cincinnati. Now, they force a 3-and-out. The defense does their job. They force a 3-and-out, get the football back to the offense. What does the offense do? A near pick, and Tashawn Gibson, who is just as short-handed as you get at the safety position, he was looking to make a play. Andy has a definite Andy dope moment, overthrows everyone except Tashawn Gibson, throws it right to him, and Tashawn, he's like, oh, I got this pick. I'm looking to score. So he's scanning the field, looking around to see, where am I running when I catch this? Oh, I forgot one thing. You can't ball without the ball. He wanted to run and have a ball. Without the football, you can't do that. You know the rules to the game. So play, man. Catch the football first, Tashawn. So that one goes right through the wickets, right through the basket, man. He was upset, but I know what he was doing. He was trying to find out how I'm going to get in the end zone with this. I don't even want to get this back to the offense. I want to take this to the crib. And so Andy was tripping. Then the offensive line, look, at right tackle, you always hate when you got to go to the backups and your backup isn't any good. And Marshall Newhouse is a guy they got from the Packers. He was a turnstile in Green Bay. That's why they got rid of him, because he was a starter in Green Bay. Then they benched him, and then they said, hey, man, you can't even be a backup for us. You stink. So now he's in Cincinnati, and they found out why the Packers got rid of him, because he's a turnstile. I mean, guys are turning him around, running outside, running inside. He can't stop you from doing anything. And so Andy Dalton sacked 2 consecutive plays by the same guy. Desmond Bryant gets him twice. Came into the game with 1 sack, got 2 sacks in a row on that possession. Got to punt the football. I mean, you can't have a worse drive than that other than actually turning it over. And Andy tried, trust me. Andy tried to turn it over. Browns didn't take advantage of it. So You can't have a much worse possession coming out of the half than that. I mean, I know that they didn't go into the halftime locker room and draw it up that way. That was pathetic. So, 10 plays, the Browns say, hey, look, man, if you don't want the football, I mean, you're trying to give it to us. We didn't want to take it. You're letting us sack you. If you don't want the football, let me have the football. Let me have a turn. I know what to do with it tonight. 10 plays, 63 yards, grinded out drive. And this was a long drive. And 10 plays isn't that long. 63 yards isn't that long. But in real time, this drive was long. Okay? 2 challenges. First of all, 2 challenges. One on a first down, one on a fumble, not a fumble. Both were in the favor of the Browns. One of them wasn't. Actually, the first down call, they didn't get a first down. They had to actually quarterback sneak it and they picked it up. And the other was a fumble that the Browns had coughed up. They thought that Cincinnati had recovered. It actually turned out to be that Isaiah Crowell was down on the play, so no harm, no foul there. Big catches on the drive by Miles Austin on 3rd down. Huge throw and catch to pick up the first down. It was 3rd and long, about 3rd and 10. They pick up about 14 on that game. Then a beautiful throw by Billy Ho, my goodness, to Gary Barnidge up the seam. You got a couple of Cincinnati Bengals defenders. Safety gets over late. Corner doesn't get his head around fast enough. And he just lays it in there beautifully. Gary Barnidge, wow. Gary Barnidge had a couple of catches in this game, and these backup tight ends for the Browns have been stepping up this year. Jim Drake, Gary Barnidge, these boys catching the football, man. Like, you do know this is Gary Barnidge from Carolina that used to block all the time and never catch the football? Browns don't care. They throwing the football in. I told you, before the season started, the Browns will throw the football to every and any. Hell, if I put on a uniform and I suit up, they'll throw me the football too. The Browns don't give a damn. As long as you got on an orange helmet, which makes no sense. You're the Browns, but your helmet's orange. I'm not doing that today. Just know that it doesn't matter. As long as you got an eligible number to catch the football, they'll throw it to you. And guys are making plays. And so that got them down inside the 5-yard line. They also had a 3rd down penalty on George Iloka that extended the drive. Cincinnati came with an all-out blitz. They threw the kitchen sink. 0 coverage, 0 blitz. Literally man-to-man across the board. He couldn't stay with Taylor Gabriel. I mean, Gabriel had him beat on this particular play. He had to grab him to keep pace with him. It was a good call, right call. It extended the drive. And they ran the football. Out of the 10 plays, 8 of them were runs, and the last of which being a 1-yard, wake up Mr. West, Terrence West touchdown. So that means Ben Tate has a rushing touchdown, Isaiah Crowell has a rushing touchdown, and now welcome to the party, Mr. West. He gets one too. It's 24-3. Browns are dominating this game. And that's the way it would stay as they dominated the 3rd quarter. I mean, Cincinnati literally had 12 yards of total offense in the 3rd quarter. Nothing. They did nothing. And the 4th quarter was much of the same. A lot of nothing. A promising drive by Cincinnati to start the 4th quarter. And they had to, literally, the 4th quarter had to be perfect for them to get back into this game. And they started off that way. They looked like they were going to go down the field, get in the end zone, and kind of see if they could get back on the comeback trail. Oh, stop right there. Andy said, nope, we're not doing that today. And he said, time for an Andy dope moment. As, why the hell are you throwing a slant to Greg Little? You got young, fresh, and green, and he struggled. Joe Hayden was placid all over him, I know. But I'd much rather force the football to 18 than to Greg Little. Come on, man. Greg Little is doo-doo. Why are you doing that? And then you got Mohamed Sanu. Throw the football to one of those guys. No, he tries, and honestly, they could have thrown a flag. They could have said, because he was running a slant, Tashawn Gibson gets in his way, stops his progress, ball goes right to bust the screen. But I'm blaming Andy for that. Don't throw that football. Don't throw it to him. No, that's a bad decision. Bad Andy. No, bad Andy. And so that was basically it. 24-3 is your final score. Cleveland dominates this game from start to finish. I was surprised. Like, you got me. Didn't see this one coming. And kudos to the Cleveland Browns. God damn, this was dominant. It was dominant. And you know what? I keep trying to convince myself that Cincinnati is fine. Mentally, I keep doing it. But they keep proving to me week after week that they're not fine. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. I don't know if this team is going to make the postseason or not. Like, I didn't think that Cleveland could do what they did tonight. After watching them against Oakland, watching them against Tampa, no way they're coming in. But this is family business. And I told you that before in the preview. All bets are off. Forget about what they did to it. And I know better than that. But I did not see this coming. Cincinnati is a mess. I'm going to just tell you straight up. They can fool you all they want. They're not fooling me no more. I know who these guys are. And defensively, I said this earlier in the season, they're not the same. They don't get pressure on the quarterback. They're not dominant against the run anymore. They have no defensive identity. You can talk to me about missing linebackers and all that good stuff. It's up front where you're struggling. Your defensive line is no longer dominant. It used to be. It's not anymore. And so this team struggles defensively. Offensively, if Andy Dalton isn't on his best behavior, they can struggle there too. I don't like the Cincinnati Bengals right now. I'm not going to lie to you. The Browns came in and took it to this team, and they got the W in dominating fashion, 24-3. Now, they leapfrogged all the way from number 4 to the second slot in the AFC North. Steelers assumed the number 1 spot. So this is how the division looks now. Pittsburgh is in the lead at 6-3, followed by the Cleveland Browns at 6-3. We're in week 10, and the Browns are in second place. Who knew? And then you got Cincinnati bringing up the 3rd place and Baltimore in the rear at 5-4. So now Cincinnati's 5-3-1. And now they got another game in Cleveland, a place where they routinely struggle each and every single season. Now they got to try to go in there and get a win. Good luck. You're going to need it. Big win for the Browns, man. 3 cheers for the Browns. Hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip. Hooray for the Browns, man. Welcome to the party, Cleveland. Nobody invited you, man. Take a drink. Go ahead and chill, man. You in, man. You get to actually get my respect now because I keep trying to dismiss you. I can't overlook you after you go into somebody's house and stomp a mud hole in them like this. This was pretty. This was cute. Big one for the Browns. They get it done on Thursday Night Football, 24-3. That's going to do it for Browns, Bengals. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down week number 10 in the National Football League. See you. Big.